You're listening to Opening the Harp Chakra, the podcast, bringing you beautiful, healing, and magical harp music, and talking with the artists that create it. I'm your host, Jay Michaels. One of our sponsors here on the podcast is Pedran Harps, Pedran Harps. They're located in Wales, and they make beautiful instruments from naturally fallen Welsh wood. It's amazing. And they make a variety of harps. The one I use right now is the Pedran Bach. It's a small 20-string travel harp with a beautiful tone. Mine is made of ash. And if you are interested in purchasing a Pedran Bach, there's information in the show notes, including a discount on that particular model. Or you can peruse the other models, the larger harps, beautiful harps from Pedran Harps in Wales. Today's guest on the podcast, an outstanding harp player. She's a multi-instrumentalist. She studied traditional Irish music and classical music as well. She's performed all over Ireland and beyond. From County Kerry, the lovely village of Dingle in Ireland, Deirdre Granville. Deirdre, welcome to the podcast. Fáilte.
Thanks very much, Jay. Thanks for having me. Gurmíl Magat.
So we met for the first time at O'Sullivan's Courthouse in Dingle. My wife Abby and I were there for a few days in town, and we were looking for entertainment. We heard there was a harp player performing that night, so we dropped in and met you and your sister Aoife, who were playing that night. It was just a wonderful performance, so thank you for that.
Thanks, and thanks for you and your wife for joining. You played a few sets, and it was lovely. So it's not every night that you have someone that can actually can play the harp, and they come in to hear your session and can play also. So that was lovely too. So
the pleasure was really all ours. Thank you. I enjoyed playing your harp very much, by the way. Some would argue that Dingle, the village, and the area surrounding the Dingle Peninsula, perhaps one of the most beautiful places on the planet. And having visited for a few days, I tend to agree with that. Have you always lived in Dingle?
Yeah, I suppose I was away for my college years and maybe, different studying, and lived away for a few years, but I'm back home now again and was brought up here. Yeah, no, I'm very lucky. It is a beautiful place. It's back to the rainy weather. We had a bit of high temperatures there for about 2 weeks, and you wouldn't want to go anywhere. It's just gorgeous, but it's back to the rain and the fog again today. So I suppose it's not always reliable weather-wise, but it is a lovely place to be from. Yeah.
And just as a point of reference for our listeners, we were recording this podcast in early August of 2026. Deirdre, I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit about your beginnings with the harp, your origin story, how you and the harp first came to know and have a relationship with one another.
I suppose I was lucky that there's 4 of us in the family with my siblings, and we were very close to where there was a lot of music lessons being provided in classical, and we were in the young band here in fife and drum, and I was doing piano lessons and things like that. But I suppose with harp, what first brought my attention to it, there's a really, infamous program that's on every Christmas here in Ireland. It's part of the Late Late Show. It's the Late Late Toy Show. And I saw the harp being played in the Late Late. And I just was like, that's it. I want to play that. And Santa Claus was very good at the time, and he brought me a harp. So it's a long time ago. But I was very lucky that kind of, and it was hard to get lessons and such at the time. There was a German man called Adolf Packheiser. He tunes pianos here still, actually, and he was kind of self-taught on the harp, but he was teaching other instruments for the School of Music here in Dingle. And he started me off, and we were lucky. Even he brought us touring, myself and my sister, later on years to come, around Germany and parts of Europe and things. So it was. That was kind of the first thing that brought me to harp, but I went on to go, I went further afield from Dingle for harp lessons when I was a teenager and stuff, and to a lot of workshops and things later on, just to try and get more focus on technique and things. But that was how I started, I suppose.
And I understand you attended University College Cork and the University of Limerick. Did you study just harp there or music in general?
Music in general, I suppose, in UCC in Cork, it's a music. I did music and art, so I did the 2 degrees. So I was kind of doing the BMOS, the Bachelor of Music, at the same time. So I kept Irish and maths first for my initial degree, and then I went on and just did the music degree. So I was always doing harp, but it's a broad degree. So you're doing classical, you're doing ethno, you're doing you can focus on what you want there. I didn't want to just be zoned into one Irish music. I did want to kind of keep up the classical thing when I was going first. I suppose as it went through it, I kind of zoned more into the Irish music. I was involved as well with the Trad Society, and I established a harp. Well, we re-established. There had been a harp society at Trianthon years before I got there, and then it had kind of fallen asunder. And then there was a lot of harpers there in my time, so we re-established it, and we commissioned a piece called Air-Drawn Curves that we performed. So I kind of zoned into more Irish music, but I did try to keep on the classical a little bit, and but yeah, I suppose the harp kind of took over there. But I kept flute on and singing for a while, yeah. So, and then in UL, I suppose then I did just zone into harp. I did the masters in performance there. Later on, and I think that was 2014, I did that, or 15. So yeah, that was just really to zone into the harp for the year. It was great to get so much time to just perform, So
Did you ever play the pedal harp, or did you stick to just the lever harp?
I did actually do a semester of pedal harp in UCC with Bonnie Shalvine. I loved it, and I'd love to be able to play the concert harp, and I'm afraid the budget doesn't allow me for managing to buy it. I don't think Santa would bring me one of them now, but yeah, I would love to, and I'd like to have done more in college. I think just the way it worked out, I couldn't pick it every semester, so yeah. If I had my time back, I definitely would love to be doing that, or have maybe gone to maybe Dublin and zoned into more trying to do pedal harp, because I think it's a beautiful instrument. I'd love to play it.
So going from classical to traditional, did your classical training help with that or hinder, or how did that work for you?
It depends. I suppose it depends on the instrument. I think with harp, it definitely helps. But I think your technique, you really need a good technique to manage the Irish music on the harp. I think I was doing classical violin all through my youth and in orchestras, but I found actually in terms of trad on the violin, I was very bad. I managed to do ceilidh bands and things, but I think I was more classical minded in terms of the violin, that I couldn't really manage to get to that level I wanted with the trad on the fiddle. But I don't think there's that same thing with harp. I think definitely the technique just helps you get better at the trad side. And I think same with flute. I see Aoife, my sister, did classical flute, and I definitely think it just probably helped her as opposed to hindered her. So I think it's only really the violin I always thought was the one that you could have. You nearly need to have some kind of bad habits that if you get too good at the classical, it's very hard to kind of relax into that naturalness you need in trad. So yeah.
And perhaps if you've never played by ear and only read music, it might be a little more challenging because, trad is usually taught by ear.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely love that I have a good, with piano, I wouldn't be a sight reader. I always am more, I think I used to get in trouble in orchestras even. I'd learn off certain parts, and then if I zoned out, I might miss my cue. And you do need to be a good reader, but I definitely think to get to a good level, though, you always by ear. Even with classical musicians, I see certain piano players and things that they're much better if they can do it by ear. So I think it helps to be able to. But I suppose that is the thing with trad. You can't fully be at your best if you're just reading music. I think you have to let it get into you and get into your head and relax into it so you feel it. So.
Yeah, exactly. Like when we play, it's an open door that it's never going to be the same way twice, because it's always, you feel different in each and every moment.
Totally, yeah. It's an experience, isn't it? You have to enjoy it, and once you get to that level, I know when you're learning it's different. I suppose there's a certain amount of practice and rehearsals that has to go in, but definitely when you get to, you need to enjoy the music for others to enjoy it, I think.
So you and your sister Aoife have a new CD out. It's called Draíochta, which is a phrase in Gaeilge, the language of Ireland.
Yes, Draíochta, yeah, it means like directly translated, be kind of the magical fog or the misty fog. And where I'm from in Dingle or West Kerry, Corca Dhuibhne in general, it's always referred to in a lot of folklore. There's a lot of a lot of songs mention the Draíochta, and actually I'm looking out on a very day that has a lot of Draíochta. It just is that kind of thing of other parts of the country. It might be a lovely bright day, but in West Kerry often there's this real haze that encompasses the whole valley just so.
Right.
But yeah, our granny would have always been referring to it, and we'd always hear of it. But then we just came across this song from Aoife, collected from Balloch on the Skull, and it's also in a lot of the music on the CD we collected from the Canon Seamus Goodman's collection of music, and this is one of the songs in that collection. And then we were lucky to find the lyrics. A lovely lady from Cork, Miriam Granville, put the lyrics to the music there a few years ago. The manuscript that had been, he always referred to, I'm wandering here now, but I did a little bit of research. I did my final year, I suppose, write up in UCC on Canon James Goodman and the collections, and I went up that time to Trinity to look at the handwritten manuscripts. They were published all right in 97 by Hugh Shields, but I went up just because there was one of the editions hadn't been published, and always you'd see these lovely handwritten notes saying I'm better than the other collectors because I sing and I have all the words. I was wondering where are the words, but about I suppose 10 or 15 years ago, a relative of Canon James Goodman, I think his great grandson or something in England, they were clearing out an attic, and lo and behold they found manuscripts with all the words. So Miriam did a bit of research onto them as well, so she has them available on her website. So it's great, yeah. And I suppose that's what kind of first attracted them. We thought, sure, I suppose it's a fitting title for the album. We have lots of music from the Goodman collection, which is important to us, to kind of that music that's written down, but that it isn't played that often, and a lot of them hadn't been recorded. So then we thought, yeah, I suppose sure that's a fitting title. I know sometimes then people are saying don't go with the Irish title, but I think it made sense for us, So
well, you speak the language, and you're part of the country as well, right?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, it's a Gaelic region, so not necessarily everyone in the town of Dingle would speak Irish. You'd have a mixture of people and stuff, but it would be classed as a Gaelic town. But I suppose we were lucky our father wouldn't have actually spoken English until he was probably about 12 years old, when he had to go to school in the secondary. So we were brought up with Irish, so yeah, it's lovely to have,
It is a very beautiful language. I wish I spoke more. I just have a little bit. Cúpla focal as Gaeilge orm.
You have your cúpla focal. Draíochta now, anyway.
Right. Why don't we play the title track since we're talking about it?
Okay, great, yeah.
Yeah.
Draíochta Jolíhachan von me Servin Tower da Hanachan Swan Ye Bart Fod Quilta gan Atrov Frilach na Blarnen so was Nugar Hinas Kosh Crave Glass na Blaha Agus Tave Lamgadana she was On TV Shach Queen Village the Balna Da Hilrego Adam was Da Viegas Christig Legroye Da Gnihogas Lanshark Galua Da Queen Rusk Da Mean Ruskis Da Goire Da Shavlak and Alden Gan Grun Da Lehavi Breda Tablover Dá ceach crunne all in na croa Stá siradí aníthe ní choslam Bheith mín táhair alna a grua An tú inanú ifanú áine Nu an tíbhan ón mon graig a dweig Nu an eilean ruig muintin rochráite Nu an dílad má cháde searbúr An tú cliana rog bris lá tar sóla Nu an timpera ro all an rog bua Nu an great that cha ancient to drogum God en tiras God ani sherwood The reti marla chéile san nísin Ein tal ná scuilech go dó Go raibh tíarna bhan léiteach sa taobhthir Sná hain le siar simint ceol Gur thug sí fiachant ro dhéhrach ar a crí orm Da heides le sé de vis mjó Is mar versa skjelte na híhe Da bjell mi leis bí hugus på
And that is so breathtakingly beautiful. The title track from the new CD, Draíochta, from my guest, Deirdre Granville, and her sister, Aoife. Thank you so much for sharing that. Wow.
Thanks, Joe, for playing it.
It's just lovely. It's just, it's so magical. And the language is just so beautiful and descriptive.
I'm glad you approve.
Oh, absolutely. Not that you need my approval, but I love it. It's beautiful.
Thanks so much.
So there is an organization in Ireland called Harp Ireland that really supports all aspects of harp, from traditional to contemporary. And you, Deirdre, are involved in that organization.
I am, yeah, I'm delighted to be. Since kind of the beginning, I suppose, before we established there is a great organisation, Corca Dhuibhne, that runs harp festivals up in Louth every year, the International Harp Festival. But I suppose that's just more so maybe Republic of Ireland, and I suppose a lot of us harpers and came together in about 2015 just to talk about where was the harping going, and to try and, you know, Toner Quinn at the time did a feasibility study and like what was wanted, and we were saying, you know, an all island shared organisation was really needed, you know. So I've been kind of involved in the start. I suppose I'm from a kind of, I would call, on the Immel here in Kerry, and I know I struggled when I was younger to try and find harp tuition and things. There was definitely no other harpers, whereas now there's plenty of people playing in Kerry. So I did think it was important to be involved and kind of I suppose fly the flag for the Kerry side, you know. So yeah, I've been involved since the beginning. I did more in the beginning, I suppose. I was kind of more involved with the social media, or we had less people. Kind of, it's grown fairly quickly. So now, thankfully, there are some people employed. But we would be hoping for more in the future. There's a lot of voluntary work involved. Aileen McCran does, and Etna, and there's a few more doing so much work for free. So only for them it wouldn't be happening. I'm on the board, and I'm also there's an advisory group. So I suppose we're firmly established in 2016, and then in 2000, the first thing we kind of worked on was getting UNESCO status for the harp. And that was brilliant because it means just that it has to be safeguarded, because it's a 1,000-year-old tradition. It's our emblem of Ireland. Some people associate it with negative sometimes here because you see the harp coming and you might be getting a speeding ticket or something like that. So we wanted to kind of be more, a positive thing. So being on the UNESCO list of intangible culture, I can never get this right, cultural heritage, gives kind of international recognition. So it's huge, and it means it has to be safeguarded for the future, so and gives a real status. The pipers had gained that the year before, so we were kind of wanting to get the same status, and we're hoping then in the future, that we'll eventually get a building, maybe like a harp centre for, and that it would be a hub and maybe a like a artist residency and all this. So that's the next project. But around the country we do Harp Day as well every year in October. I think you've been involved as well. We tried to get as many from around the world. Now it's gone. The first year it was supposed to be just in Ireland, but then so many people seem to be coming online and saying they loved this idea of it. So now, like in the last few years, it's spread out as, people all around Europe, Australia, I know a lot in the US. So I suppose we're going to try and grow that. It's a small budget you have and it's a small team, but, everyone helps out for that. They organise concerts as well around the country and things like that. So it's pretty much very much Ireland based at the moment, but I suppose again in the future we'd love to get more happening maybe internationally if that.
So October 17th is Harp Day, Lana Critta.
Lana Critta, yeah. So there'll be lots kind of happening in the one day, and there'll probably be a gala concert in Ireland, but then a lot of you can submit their little videos of them playing harp wherever they want across the world, and that all goes up. There's usually an interactive map then on the Harp Ireland website, and you can go in and click on the place and there'll be a little video of someone playing, sometimes to cows or but we try and do a lot of events, I'd usually do some a Harp Day concert in Dingle in the T-shirt, and we do some harp yoga, and I know down in Wexford they go all around different shops and have pop-up little kind of harp concerts everywhere. So yeah, lots happening across the country for that. So
yeah, we appreciate you and the organization and everything that it does. There are so many people all over the world, and I know here in the States that absolutely adore Irish music, traditional, contemporary, and I don't know, perhaps one day we could have a branch of Harp Ireland here in the States.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to think about it, because I know there's that great, there's a lot of harp playing in the US. Like I know, isn't there, Somerset is such a huge festival. And,
Somerset, right?
Yeah, so, and I know a lot, even for the Flacchiola, a lot come over from the US. There's, I remember I was over in St. Louis one year judging, and there was a load of harp players for, it was the Midwest Flowers and things. So yeah, there's a lot happening, I think. Yeah, so you'll definitely have to have a branch. Yeah. I suppose it's not just as well, it's not just the Irish harp. It's to try and promote the wire strung harp and the pedal harp and every basis to try and keep everyone that it's all encompassing.
And of course, you have the Historical Harp Society of Ireland, being headed by Siobhan Armstrong, really promoting and teaching people about the old style of harp, the wire strung, the clarshook in its music.
Yeah, it's great, and she will give talks as well for Harp Ireland and things. So it's they're going very strong there, and they have their own festival as well. So
another great harp organization.
Brilliant, yeah, it's great. So all going well at the moment, anyway.
Nice. It's good to hear. Yeah. So do you individually or you and your sister Aoife have some plans coming up for the next year, for 2026 into 2027?
Yeah, I suppose we're trying to. There was so much work involved, and as you probably know, just tried to get the last bit of the CD done. I mean, we started probably 4 years ago, and it was supposed to be kind of more live things. So we recorded in Goodman's cottage here on his land, and but then it just didn't get finished, so it delayed out. So then we set a deadline, and then there was a lot of work done to get it done in time. So I'm still trying to organise a kind of a tour around it. So we have some definite things coming up. We'll launch locally, and then I know we're playing at Electric Picnic, which should be lovely. It's a big festival here at the end of August, and we're going to launch and do a concert at the Cork Folk Festival as well. That's in October, and then there's nothing else definite, but I am in the middle of confirming a few dates. So it'll probably run into 2027. We're going to try and tour it and maybe have some overseas dates there included. We're hoping to get back to Paris. I was there in the Centre Culturel a few years ago doing a residency. So I'm hoping to go back there with the album and maybe do a few concerts then around France. So can't confirm any of them at the moment, but at the minute I'm confirming lots of dates. So yeah, a planned tour, but we'll try and update our websites as well in the meantime. We're better on social media, I suppose, for those things anyway. Usually always put a note of where we are, so.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, what's the best way for people to be updated and to follow you on social media?
Yeah, well, I suppose the album is on Bandcamp is probably the easiest one, but we're both on, we have an email to contact if you want. It's Aoife and Deirdre Granville at gmail.com. And then we both are individually on Facebook, Instagram. I don't do X or Twitter, but I think Aoife does. So, that's kind of you can get us any of those streams anyway, So I do have the website, but it needs to be updated. One of the many jobs that has to be done as a working musician.
Yeah, as I know. What I will do is include all your links in the show description here on the podcast so people can go to Bandcamp, to YouTube, and find out where they can get the music and where they can see you in the future.
That'll be great. Thanks so much.
So I would like to feature another selection from your CD. This one, a solo harp piece, very beautiful. It's called Maidin Even Iirecht.
Yeah, Maidin Even Iirecht, that's it. Yeah. So it's kind of... yeah, again, it's another one from the Canon Goodman's collection of music. I think a lot of the music really kind of sits with me because I feel like there's definitely stuff that has to be of the harper's past repertoire. It just fits so well on the harp. So this is one of them. It's a slow air. Maidin Even Iirecht would translate as Maidin, the morning, even, really lovely, like more not just nice, and Iirecht, like a fresh, fine morning. So I suppose we don't often get them, but when we do get those nice days, it kind of reminds you of, you're in a lovely place. So, yeah.
It's the best. Mm-hmm. We will end the podcast with the beautiful harp music of my guest today, Deirdre Granville. Deirdre, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Thank you for keeping traditional Irish music alive. Thank you for keeping the beautiful Irish language, Gaeilge, alive. Go raibh maigad, a cara.
Go míle maigad, Jay. Thanks so much for having me.
Slán go fóill.
Slán go fóill.